Okay, let's try this again. Third time's a charm. I wanted to come on here talk about some wrestling and everything. Anyway, let's talk about this. Now, as you can see here, I'm on Fightful Select's Patreon page, and one of the things people have been talking about in the past 24 hours is Vince McMahon being backstage last night for Raw in Hartford, Connecticut. Now, as you see here, this is a report that was made around 8 o'clock last night, Pacific time, which I would assume is I think after or well, I don't know what it is, but basically this was at Raw. That's what I was trying to say. This was during Raw or before and during Raw and everything. This is the report that Fightful Select put out. Hold on, let me get myself some Coca-Cola. There we go. I need to get that into me. But basically, yeah, Vince was at Vince was at Raw last night and everything in Hartford, and a lot of people assumed that he was going to probably be there because, as you can see by the report, if you read it, you know, Hartford is just a fairly short trip, fairly short trip, I should say, a stone skip away from where Vince lives in Greenwich, and of course from where he works at WWE headquarters in Stamford. So it was going to be obvious that he would be there, except many talent didn't see him, at all, as well as the staff. Many, as it says here, many of the talent and the staff at 6 p.m. Eastern hadn't seen McMahon, but did see a room being prepared for someone to work out of, which was an office for McMahon. Now, they did say Vince was in gorilla position, but did he call the show? Was he the one calling the shots? No. I mean, excuse me. Because lately, as they point out here, Vince has been calling in changes, sometimes very close to the show. And this has caused late rundowns to be passed out and some segments and matches to be nixed. And then they say basically they haven't heard anything out of the ordinary and were told the mood was much less hectic at the Hartford Raw than the Raw after Mania. Now, they did mention afterwards, they updated it, saying that they learned that Vince made changed a significant part of the show just a couple of hours before the show. But the event ended up being very positively received. Now, here's what they did report, and these are some of the updated ones right here, about 10 hours ago. This person here, Matt Henderson, says that PW Insider mentioned that when it came to major changes for this week's Raw, Vince changed the match order and the segment order of the show. And then um, Fightful Select says, yep, and match times. Now, Matt responded by saying it's unfortunate about the match times, just trying to be optimistic. The show wasn't rewritten completely, and that no one's match or segment got completely cut. But here's the thing. A lot of the matches went on for a significant time, about 20 minutes, just about for a lot of them. So I don't know what they meant by the match times, like the time they were supposed to go on or the length they had to compete. We don't know. There's no details right there. So obviously this got a lot of people concerned though when they first heard about Vince being back there. But me, around the same time this was published, I responded basically because again it was so well received and everything, and it felt more like as people like JD, Just Alex, Solid Monster, and others that do Raw reviews, along with SmackDown reviews, they basically all felt like it was a Triple H show. And this is what I said here in response on the Patreon for Fightful, as well as I said the same thing in a super chat to Alex of Alex's World during his review. This is what I said here. I said, and I quote, this is what I said right here, and I quote, I think the closer, and let me highlight this so you guys can see it. I said, I think the closer we get to the merger becoming a reality, and Ari, that's Ari Emanuel, the head of Endeavor, being his boss, Vince is trying his best to be on his best behavior and not screw things up. And what I meant by that is, just like with any merger, if you're somebody that, before a merger happens, is, the sole owner, basically the guy that runs the place and everything, and doesn't have to answer to anyone, when you're getting close to a merger, and that basically the company you're merging with has somebody already in that position that you're in, and thus it's going to make you basically their employee. You know, you want to do, but you're also going to be an employee in a high level position. The closer you get to a merger, becoming a reality, the more you're going to want to be on your best behavior. The more you're going to be like, I'm like if you're Vince and you're tempted to want to make a change in everything, knowing you're going to be there, but you know that perhaps word had already gotten out about what you did, on the night after your biggest show of the year, your Super Bowl, you know, and you're backstage again because it's basically in your backyard. You are tempted. You get that temptation of wanting to do, but you can't because you don't want to make yourself look bad again. And there's no doubt in my opinion, folks. There's no doubt in my opinion. Okay, I have I have no doubt in my opinion, guys, that what was I trying to say? I just lost my train of thought there. Um, there's no okay. There's no. Let me kind of rephrase this. There's no doubt in my mind. Vince is tempted. Is what I'm trying to say. Vince is tempted to want to. I guess you could say, get his fingers dirty, if you will. He wants to get his fingers dirty, but he can't. He can't because he knows that. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. Again, almost lost my train of thought there, guys. I do apologize. It's about 3:15 in the afternoon, and I have a feeling my mom's going to call to check up on things again like she normally does, which is a good thing. But, that's why I'm kind of like a little disjointed right now because I don't know when she's going to call and everything. And using OBS Studio, I can't pause or anything. So yeah, I do apologize for that. But yeah, what I was trying to say is, it would not surprise me. This is what I was trying to get at. It would not surprise me if Vince basically got talked to by Ari. Like after the blow up of the money of the Raw after Mania, and the overall dissatisfaction, that everybody had, with it. I would not be surprised if word got out to Ari Emanuel, especially with the rating dipping the lowest it's ever been in the history of Raw. I would not be surprised if word got to Ari Emanuel and he talked to Vince. He probably called him up and said, Vince, I know you want to make changes and everything, and that's fine, but but please leave it to your son-in-law. And if you want to make changes, just make them as you feel necessary, but mostly leave it up to him. I think that's might have been what happened. Like, Ari said, look, I'm okay if you want to make changes, but leave most of the decision making to your son-in-law. So obviously, but knowing that he doesn't want to have to go through that again, in my opinion, Vince, knowing that Raw was going to be in his backyard and wanting to be there to see how things are going, obviously, and I guess as much as we may hate to admit it, kind of get back into the feel of things, or at least have a little bit of a feel of it once more, just to keep himself in the groove, whether we like that or not. Um, to me, I think obviously Vince realized, okay, I'm tempted. It's like I'm here. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this. But here's the thing. He knows that if he tries to do something, it's going to make him look bad. That whatever he wants to do is going to basically make Raw look bad, and word could get back out to Ari, and Ari could have another talk with him again. So obviously not wanting to risk potentially being on the unemployment line after the merger is done, Vince was probably like, you know what, I want to make some changes. Let me see what I can do here. Da, 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 da. And maybe somebody like, let's say, a Michael Hayes, maybe a Triple H himself said, hey, if you want to make changes, here's how you can make changes. Like, you want to change the order of the matches, the times they come on, or the times they go on, you could do that. You want to change up when the segments happen, the times they happen and go on, you could do that, and that's it. Those to me, that to me, I believe are the significant changes. Basically, switching the matches and segments to go on at different times than they originally were planned. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I think because of the fact that word had gotten out to Ari about that terrible Raw after Mania, and the rating going down the lowest it's ever gone, I think, Ari talked to Vince, and I think Vince, knowing, hey, Raw's in my backyard, I'll go pay a visit and everything, probably realized that, well, if I'm going to be here and I'm going to be in Gorilla for a little bit, you know, I have to be on my best behavior because word could get out. And who knows? Maybe he said, "Okay, Triple H, I'm going to let you show me how you do it so that if I or somebody I trust has to step in for you, we know how to run it the way you run it." Maybe that's what happened. Maybe Vince, word got to Vince said, "Hey, everybody likes how Triple H does things." Vince is like, "Okay, I'm in your backyard. Show me, not in your backyard, but I'm in, Raw's in our backyard. Okay, son-in-law, show me how it's done. Show me how it's done." And you know what? I would not be surprised if the person that suggested maybe he, watch from, kind of shadow, as they would say in the work in the workforce, if you will, when you're a new employee. I would not be surprised if the person that told Vince to shadow Triple H was Stephanie or even Linda. I would not be surprised by that. I would not be surprised if it was one or the other, or even Shane. I would not be surprised if it was one or the other telling Vince, shadow Hunter and see how he does things. Watch how he does things. And that's probably what happened. That's probably what happened, in my opinion. Vince shadowed Hunter, saw how Hunter was running things. It was more like, okay, okay, if that's how things are done nowadays, especially to compete, eat, or keep on top of our game and everything, then fine. We'll do it that way and see what happens. Maybe he was shadowing him. We don't know. Um, but what was interesting though about Vince being there is the fact that he was there with other executives. Now we don't know if those were just executives from WWE, themselves, or a mixture of WWE and Endeavor executives. We don't know, because they don't really say, who the executives were. Just like they don't say what the significant portion of Raw that he changed up was. So anyway, though, basically, yeah, Vince was backstage last night, and is credited for doing it, for changing things around, but changing things around in what turned out to be a great Raw. Now, whatever the changes were, eventually, maybe someday, down the line, we'll find out. But that wasn't the only thing that came out of WWE over this past weekend, or as I like to look at it from here in the Newman Patterson region, the Apricot Fiesta weekend, because we had the 51st Apricot Fiesta over the weekend in Patterson. That wasn't the only thing that came out of WWE this week. What also came out of WWE, if I can find it, here and everything, I may have to go back to Facebook here because I know they have it. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we just saw that there. Hold on for a second. Just had my stomach growl there. Um, but let's see where it's at. We'll look at the photo. Excuse me. We'll look at the photos here. They often have it in the photos, I think. And we'll get into some of these things for Forbidden Door in a little bit too, because that's got people talking. That does. You know that. That's got people talking and everything. Here we go. Here we go. Um, so the new WWE Championship, the Undisputed Championship, was presented to Roman Reigns on Friday for his accomplishment of over 1,000 days as champion. Now, what's interesting is the championship, and I'll get into this in a moment, has a very similar design to the ones he currently had. But the big difference, if you could look at it real closely, I don't know if we got a better shot of it or not. Let me see here. Let me see if we got a better shot of it. No, not that one. Let's see here. It's a little better. We'll zoom in a little bit. We'll zoom in. But the big difference here, and you can see it right there, just barely. It says undisputed. In fact, we'll look at the WWE shop thing because they do have it on there. See, right here it says undisputed champion. Now, here's the thing about the championship itself, okay? Here's the thing about the championship, itself, as I try to get a better picture. Again, a lot of people feel that the decision, is lazy. That it's lazy. It's just basically it's basically the same recycled design that they've been utilizing since The Rock introduced it in 2013, almost about a decade ago, something. But here's the thing, though: the original belt that was this, the W was the old scratch W, the old scratch logo W. This is the more modern one. Okay, so when The Rock introduced it, it was still kind of the scratch logo, if you will, with the W on it. That's basically what it was. It was the old scratch logo. Here, it's more of the new modern, the more modern version. But again, but again, the criticism people had about this belt is, like I said, it's the same title design that the undisputed title, the universal title, the women's title, and women's SmackDown and women's Raw championships all have. It's like there was no effort, unlike what they did for the world title, for the new world title currently held by Seth Rollins. Yeah, you know, like they didn't put much effort into it. Unlike, let's see if we have the photo of the world title here somewhere. I know they have to have that here somewhere. Hold on. Hold on for a second as I scroll down. Do 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 do. Hold on. Let's see here. It's got to be in here somewhere. It's got to be here. It's got to be here. Come on. Come on. Where are you? Where are you? So, and if you hear anything in the background, that's our neighbors playing their music, playing music and everything. That's the one thing my mom, even though she's Mexican herself, and I say this with all due respect, no offense, that's the one thing that gets on my mom's nerves being here in Newman. It's like, enough of the Mexican music. We get it. You miss being in Mexico or something. Again, I say that with all due respect, no offense, because I'm a Mexican. I'm a half Mexican, myself. But anyway, let's see. I know they have it here somewhere. Man, they buried that sucker, didn't they? So let me see. They have it in here somewhere. I know he introduced it before back. I know Triple H introduced it before Backlash. So let's see. And he did it before the draft too. So see if it's in it. Here it is. See, people say that they put more effort into this than they did with the undisputed title they gave Roman, which is understandable because this is basically a hybrid of what you get right now with the belt that Roman has, but it's also a hybrid of paying homage to Big Gold, the big World Heavyweight Championship belt that was held by the likes of Ric Flair and such. It has the McMahon crest on it with the lions, and then it's got the little eagle up here, which is a touch, kind of an acknowledgement of the WWE Championship. Like I said, you got the McMahon crest right here, and so basically you got I guess you could say the best of all three, all three iconic world titles into one. The the issue that people have though when it comes to to this title here, in comparison to what was presented to Roman, as we try to get back up there, to what was presented to Roman, is why put effort into that championship and not put the effort or put that same kind of effort into the undisputed title. Why not do the same thing? And it appears to me that that might be a reason. Now, I didn't listen to the entire, I guess you could say, video discussion that I think, what was it, what was it, what culture had, or I think it was Woke Culture or Cultaholic, one of them had. But basically, it seems that there might be reasons for that. There might be reasons why they didn't change it. Is because if the planning to go was Cody to be the man to dethrone Roman, if the planning to go was Cody to be the man to dethrone Roman, I'm assuming what woke culture is speculating, essentially, excuse me, what they're speculating is that when Cody, whether it's at SummerSlam, WrestleMania next year, or whenever, what they're speculating is that Cody will take this belt and switch it out for a more modern version of Winged Eagle. That's the speculation that's going on, and apparently I think that's what I think it was, like I said, woke culture or cultaholic was alluding to. That basically, this undisputed title design, which is basically the same design as the other ones, is only temporary. It's only temporary until Cody, whether it's SummerSlam, whether it's WrestleMania, or whenever, when he beats Roman, Cody is going to replace this baby with a more modern version or resurrected version of the Winged Eagle belt. The same Winged Eagle belt that was held by the likes of Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, for a brief period, Andre the Giant, Randy Savage, for a brief period held and not officially recognized or kind of recognized or whatever you want to call it by Ted DiBiase, and so on. And it was also last held by Stone Cold Steve Austin before he was given the more attitude version of Winged Eagle, the big circular WWE Championship. So, so to me, I think that's what people, some places that are talking about this and kind of speculating or hearing things about from various sources, reliable or kind of in between. That's kind of what the kind of like looking at, like, this is just a temporary design, for Roman to have, and that when Cody comes in and wins, Cody will exchange this championship for a more revised modern day version of Big Eagle, which I could see happening because this is undisputed, right? This is basically Roman Reigns' belt. So, Roman having this belt, basically, even if he loses, this is his to keep. This is his to keep. You know, whether he, loses to Cody or whoever they choose, this is his to keep. This is his to mantle. Now, the one question people do have about it is, does this mean Roman's going to carry three championships? Like, is he going to have, one on his waist, two on his shoulder, or whatever? Is he going to be like a belt collector in that way? We'll have to see on Friday. If he's there on Friday, we'll have to see whether or not he's going to have all three championships. If he only has this title, then that's fine. But if they're just giving him this title, in a way that's similar to giving world champions of NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, Super Bowl, college football, if this is just being treated similar to that those how those are treated, then yeah, I can expect him still carrying the two belts. But we'll have to see. Like I said, Friday will be very telling if he just comes out with this belt. It'll make it easier and everything for him to do. It'll make it easier for him to do and everything. But we'll see. We'll see what he does and everything. I mean, he might just be wearing this undisputed title, but still have the other ones and then hold them up and all that, to keep that presentation going. But we'll see. Or he might just strap it off and hold it up. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. I guarantee you, though, that if he comes out with all three belts, whew, even though, the storyline involving him and the bloodline is one of the best going out there today, if there's going to be one negative they're going to take away, is that why present him with this belt? Why present him with this belt if he's going to keep the other two? It doesn't make sense. And just finishing off my Coca Cola. Um, so yeah, we'll see what happens. In fact, even Pro Wrestling Network says it right here, and I quote: "My thoughts on the new undisputed championship. Still weird calling it an undisputed title. I hope and assume they're dropping the other two belts. Otherwise, it'll look weird with Roman carrying three belts. Actually, the visual alone makes me want him to wear all three belts every PLE. In other words, they do agree it would look weird, but it would also look kind of weird, but but kind of in a presentation kind of way. Like, yeah, here's this unstoppable force, and here's the proof of him being the dominant force that he is. But again, we'll have to look at what they do here and everything when it comes to that. But if it's just this belt, fine. Because again, I think if what people are speculating to be true becomes a reality, this is just a temporary holdover till Cody wins and brings back resurrects a more modern version of Winged Eagle. That's what some people are assuming and going off of. But speaking of some wrestling, speaking of some wrestling, let's talk about AEW. Mostly, let's talk about New Japan I think it was a Dominion last night. It was Dominion, right? Well, guess who was at Dominion? For the first time in a year, or not a year, but in about 13 years, I think he said, Claudio, formerly Cesaro, competed in Japan in a six-man tag for the Never Openweight six-man tag team titles, which he and Moxley and their partner lost. And this is who their partner was right here, Shante Yumino. So yeah, and they took on these guys right here for the Never Openweight six-man tag team titles. So yeah, it was the first time in like 13 years for Claudio. So anyway, it was after the match that look who made a surprise appearance on screen. That's right, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, if you will. And this is how it's described right here. Right here it says after a chaotic six-man tag, Okada ends up hitting Rainmaker on Shato Yumino, and the team of Okada, Ishii, and Tanahashi are still your never openweight six-man tag team champions. It then goes on to say, Moxley grabs a mic and says he disagrees with the three winners being the best and that they bring a message. And then we get a video from Bryan Danielson who says Okada thinks he's the best, but Bryan says he's the test to see who's the best. Bryan says in the video if the Rainmaker is going to step in the ring with him, he's stepping into a desert and there's no rain there. And then it describes that Okada grabbed the mic. Hold on for a sec. That's my dad. Hold on. Hello? 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 I think my dad may have hit a wrong number. I do apologize for that. That was weird. But anyway, what was I? Oh yeah. Again, let me adjust my mic here. But anyway, like I said, Okada. It says here Okada grabs a mic and says that he can make it rain anywhere, and that the forbidden door will be open. So it was a fit. So this was on the 4th and everything. This was on the 4th, And then today, it was officially announced that Danielson and Okada will happen in Toronto at Forbidden Door 2. So, yes, we are going to get Brian Danielson against Kashiska Okada at Forbidden Door. And I'll tell you this, if there's one pay-per-view match or one pay-per-view event that I will order once a year and everything, if there's a pay-per-view event that I will order once a year outside of, let's say, Mania, before, well, I used to just order Mania and then Rumble and then Survivor Series and SummerSlam because those were the big four. But before the network and all that occurred. But if there's one pay per view outside of that I might, get once a year, that's AEW related, it will be Forbidden Door just because of the uniqueness of it. Now we also found out that today, officially, and I think they should have some photos on it. Yeah, right here. These are the official ones. It's all official now. So this Sunday, June 25th. I'm going to be at a wedding, damn it. That's okay, it's fine. I can always get the replay later. Um, but right here, you have Danielson and Okada, and then this one has been officially made: Omega versus Osprey, Will Osprey. So, so yeah, these are going to definitely be two match of the night, if not match of the year candidates, and everything. And here's my thing that's going. Here's what I think is going to happen. Okay, here's what I think is going to happen. We're going. I don't know how they work this out booking wise, but one of these guys is going over. In this match. So, if here's what I think is going to happen. If Will Ospreay wins, and now you can play the whole Don Callis, Takeshita interfering and all that, to help Ospreay win. You could play into that card, okay? You can play into that card, and by doing so, you could have Omega then follow up by having him cost Danielson his match with Okada. You could have that happen. You can. Now, would that take away from the matches? Maybe it would take away from them, but outside of those two possibilities, the only way I see, the only way I see it being booked in a clean way is, let's say Omega wins, then I can see Okada win. But if Ospreay wins, I see Danielson winning. So it could be either or. It could be either or happening, at Forbidden Door. But again, like I said, if there's any pay-per-view I buy that's AEW related, that may not be, and again, it all depends on the card too. It would be Forbidden Door. This year I won't be able to do it, but I will watch it on demand when I get home. I will watch Forbidden Door. I'm not missing this event, no matter what the circumstance. I'm watching this. I'm watching Forbidden Door. But yeah, this is going to be one of those that I order once a year. So I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Now, speaking of, let's see. Let's see. See. So another thing I wanted to talk about, and I mentioned this before, is even though Ring of Honor is still shown primarily, not as primarily or promptly on AEW as it used to be, but it's still there. And and the reason, as I've mentioned before, the reason I believe it is showcased still, and just in case anybody didn't hear me the first time, the reason I believe it's still showcased a lot, but not as prominently, but the reason I feel it's showcased a lot is because of the fact that, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, it all has to do with the fact that Tony Khan wanted to get ROH, on turn it on the WB's networks, but they said no. So it's only on Honor Club or whoever decides on YouTube to post it for free and stuff like that. So so to me, as I mentioned before, I think Tony Khan realizing that, well, not everybody's going to want to tune into Honor Club and everything, pay $10 a month just to see a weekly show, even if I'm offering the entire library of Ring of Honor from the very beginning to the current, along with that price tag. He knows not many people are going to want to pay for that. So in my opinion, Tony Khan realizes, well, I own I own both promotions. I'm going to basically uh, use my number one promotion, my primary promotion that WBD is invested in. I'm going to use that as an outlet to basically have Ring of Honor championship matches on there when I see fit. And I think that's why he's doing it. He's doing it mainly because, like I said, he knows not many people are going to buy into Honor Club just to watch a weekly show, even with the immense library it offers of previous events and shows. He realizes that not many people are going to do that. He knows that many people, many people are just going to, I guess the word would say, pirate it, or wait to somebody puts it on YouTube or Daily Motion or whatever. He knows that financially it's not going to be a success, and it probably hasn't been. You know, with subscription wise, that's why I think he puts the show puts these matches like the recent ROH tag team titles as the main event of Dynamite, as well as the ROH, what is it, the pure title on Rampage and stuff. He's doing that because people people are not going to pay that $10, and that this would be the only way to truly give Ring of Honor, some exposure, and maybe at the same time send a message to WBD that, hey, this is Ring of Honor on AEW, and see what you could have if you give me a spot on your Max service or a spot somewhere on one of your WBD channel networks. See what you could get. You could get this if you just give me the opportunity. In other words, what he's doing is he's giving them a sneak peek of what they could have along with AEW when it comes to Ring of Honor. But right now, he's just stuck in a situation that prevents him from doing so. So he's basically, in a way, forced, in my opinion, to have to go this direction, even though he knows, he should primarily be focusing AEW programming on, AEW talent and championships. He knows that right now he has no other option but to, go this route with, Ring of Honor, until hopefully, till hopefully they that being WBD. I was trying to think about what I was going to say there. WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, decides, okay, fine, we'll give you a slot on Max for Ring of Honor, stuff like that. So, hopefully he'll get what he wants, and I think, over time when he does this and everything, presents Ring of Honor stars, Ring of Honor championships, once in a while on Dynamite, Rampage, and eventually Collision, I think he's going to get that message across to them that, hey, this could be part of the package too. Just give me a deal. Give me something, outside of Honor Club. So hopefully that will happen. But we'll see. There's a method to his madness, as the old saying goes. The other news that came out is that sellout, attendance wise, right here, most of the what is this, a Scott Trade, or what do they call it? What do they call it? Basically, Scott Trade Center or Scott's Bank Center or something like that. I think it's still called I still call it the Scott Trade Center. Um, the Toronto venue holding Forbidden Door is mostly sold out, and probably now completely sold out and everything. And that basically the pink dots, according to what they're saying, the pink dots are all tickets that are up for resale because scalpers are all annoying people who love taking advantage of people who really want to buy something they enjoy. In other words, these are the tickets. These pink dots here are all scalpers. They are all scalpers. And obviously they're realizing, yeah, that's not right. We're going to resell those tickets. And those tickets that the scalpers are trying to sell are not going to be valid. So they're going to get a sellout, if not already. If not already, they're going to have a sellout. The other thing too, um, excuse me, that they announced. I don't know if it's on here or not, but they did announce that someone announced it that Wembley Stadium, AEW, All In 2, All In London, at Wembley Stadium had to open up some more due to production reasons, had to open up more floor seating and more sections in the more in the bowl section of the stadium. So there's going to be additional floor seatings, um, if you will. So you're getting additional floor seatings, opened up to the public, to the fans, if you will, that want to attend All In, as well as you're getting additional seating in the bowl section of Wembley Stadium. And I think that's pretty cool. Because right now they are close to almost 70,000, if not plus 70,000. And if they open up these additional seats, if you will, that'll be even better. That'll be even, better for them in the long run. So, so yeah, good on AEW to do that, and cannot wait to see if anybody takes advantage of that, which I think they probably will. But anyway though, that's pretty much going to be about it about all the wrestling news I want to discuss right now. Oh, one more thing too. Let me see if I can get back to it. I just saw it. Let me see if I can get back to it. Yeah, WWE has announced multi-year partnership with Twitch. So yeah, basically they're going to have some. They're going to do some stuff with Twitch and everything. So that's kind of the description, kind of the news items right there. But yeah, that's good news. That's kind of good news right there for WWE. Let's see. It looks like they're teasing an Osprey Rollins match. So hey, if WWE can get an Osprey Rollins match going, that'd be great because Osprey he's not tied to really anyone except for maybe Rev Pro and New Japan. And New Japan is open to working with any promotion. So I could see them trying to get Osprey in there, especially for the UK. Whenever that, I mean, Money in the Bank's coming up. So hey, if they can get Osprey for Money in the Bank a week after he does Forbidden Door, that would be something. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it looks like they're teasing a Will Osprey Seth Rollins match. That would be nice. I know people like Alex and JD would be like, take my money right away. you know. Uh, let's see. Okay, so another bit of news, and this is kind of well, this is not it right here, but yeah, this person right here at SEC Scoops is pointing out that this is going to be an insane summer for wrestling, and it's just WWE and AEW. They're not counting Impact Slammiversary or any of the Impact show premium events that happen afterwards on Impact Plus and Fight TV, or the MLW stuff or AAA stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a crazy summer. There's no doubt. But there is news going around. I was listening to JD, what he had to say today on his OTRS extra, if you will, his little 11-minute, 13-minute video. And he said that one of the news items going around is that tickets for Collision post Chicago are not selling well. Because most of the Collision after Chicago will be Canada based. Toronto, Hamilton, Saskatchewan, I think, and so on before they head back to the States in Long Island and Greensboro. And apparently tickets are not selling well for those shows, not only because I think it's not just Saturday, but because of how divisive I think, and I could sense this in JD's tone as well. I think it's how divisive Punk is, CM Punk really is, because you don't know where CM Punk is coming from. You really don't. He could, you don't know if he's there to help people out. You don't know if he's going to turn the dime. You don't know what's going on. Basically, he's put himself into a situation where he cannot be trusted. I think that's the deal. He cannot be trusted in anything. And usually, the places where he would probably be, beloved and all that and cheered, they are basically saying, yeah, we don't like this guy, we don't trust him, and we don't know what he's going to do or say, anymore. And there are some people that are going to blame him for this, soft brand split, hard brand split, soft brand split, however you look at it, within AEW happening. They're going to blame him more than the Elite. So yeah. So yeah, apparently even with him coming back and being the focal point of Collision, him having creative say in Collision, for mostly I would assume his character and anybody he works with, he's not, obviously what he's done in the past is not doing him any favors. It really isn't. But hopefully things turn around, and hopefully people will learn to trust him again if he can win back that trust. But anyway though, guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this video on wrestling, giving you my thoughts in this little wrestling discussion video. Let me know how you feel down below. Comment if you like. Live chat during the premieres. Super chats. Super chats are indeed now welcomed in the live chat during the premiere, as well as super thanks. As well, you could click on that little heart with the dollar sign on there. It would be very helpful. And shop as well. You'll see the little icons when you bring up the display and all that as well. Also, check me out at my Spotify podcast at BW Rosa's Discussions, where you will get audio versions of some of the videos and live streams I do in audio form. So, guys, check that out. And until next time, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. I am out.